The trips tight end offense is one of the best offenses in Madden every single year, and this year is no different. You could find this formation in a variety of different playbooks, and we're going to be breaking this formation down in depth. Now, first and foremost, as far as substitutions for the formation, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be putting our best overall wide receiver in this inside trips wide receiver position, and then we're just going to put our two faster receivers on the outside. So you see I'm going to put Brown and Worthy here, put Rice here. That's kind of just a general guideline and framework for how you might want to set up your depth chart. The most important thing is to have a good route running type receiver in that inside trips receiver position. The next thing that we're going to do with this formation is we're going to turn our auto pass protection onto empty or base, depending on your preference. Personally, I think empty is kind of the better overall protection, but if you find this struggling to pick up a lot of blitzes, you can always go to base as well. But generally, I like to start out in empty. As far as audibles for this offense, I think that you can do a variety of different audibles for this, but here are some of the main most important plays that you can have. First and foremost, this RPO alert bubble is very difficult to stop. You always want to have that if you can. It's just a great play that kind of forces the defense to have to defend the perimeter of the formation as well as the interior run game. The quarterback strong power or quarterback zone, both of these plays are super helpful if they ever give you a man aligned type look. You can always get to the run quickly if you want to. Some of these trip starting playbooks don't have this, but in general, this is one of the better run plays you can have. I know that Chargers and Jags has this, and I think those are probably the two trips that at least I personally prefer because I think it has the best overall run game. Okay. That being said, I think the two staple passing plays that you kind of have to have if you're going to be running trips tight end at a high level, you pretty much have to have verticals and China wide post. Those are the two must-have plays. The reason China wide post is such a must-have play is it has a really cool post route to the tight end, but it also has this running back slide route, and this running back slide route is just super, super important in this year's game. From there, I think you can honestly kind of create around the rest of the formation. I don't think you necessarily have to have any one in particular play. Some other plays that are nice to have are drive post. Drive post is a really, really good passing play. And then I like to have a variety of play action plays. Play action blocking is the best type of blocking that you can get in this game. And so play action counter go, really, really good play. PA boot shot, a very versatile play that we can use to bomb different types of coverages, as well as give us, really, really nice pass protection that we could then build route combinations around. Another play that I like to have is this motion Z spot. It has a short post on the outside trips receiver. It has a speed or quick table route to the running back and a unique corner route to the tight end. And then I also love this play motion bench, kind of similar. You have a short post on that middle trips receiver. Inside cross, kind of a fun little play you can have against man coverage as well. But in general, I think the must-have plays to me are definitely verticals and China wide post. And what we'll do is we'll just come out in this play drive post, and I'll go ahead and show you how we set up the formation. So in general, when you're running trips tight end, what you basically want to do, if you ever find yourself in the middle of the field, it's not necessarily an ideal place to be because your trips is not going to properly space out. So what I would typically do is if I'm ever in the middle of the field, I love to just run the ball just to get to a hash, call the bubble screen. You see here, that'll get us to a hash on either side. And then from there, what we're going to generally be doing is calling our trips to the wide side of the field. So if we're on the right hash mark, we're going to be calling our trips to the left. And then if we're on the left hash mark, what we would do is we would back out here and we would basically go ahead in our play call menu and we would just flip this formation. So you'll see I'm just going to hit the right trigger. That's going to allow me to flip the formation. And now when I come out, my my plays are properly spaced out. So those are the main things that you need to know before getting into the plays of the trip tight end offense. The play China wide post out of the trip tight end formation is one of the best plays in all of Madden 26. And the way that we like to run this play is very, very simple. We're just going to simply drag the slot receiver like this. We're going to streak the inside trips receiver like this. And then you can kind of leave it like this if you want to maybe quick hike or get a little bit of a faster setup. But what I really like to do is either a return route or just a basic 5-yard in route to the outside guy. I don't really like the stock route. Now, the reads on this play is we're going to always look at that seam streak quick, because in this formation, if they're doing anything kind of weird to their zones, the seam streak can really pop. The next thing that I like to do is kind of look down to that drag and that running back cross route. That running back slide route is really good this year. It's going to give us a lot of answers against both man and zone. We then have this kind of high-low read over the middle between the post and the drag and in route. So essentially, you're going to see here, if they kind of drift back like this, I love to take that quick read right there to that little drag route. I think that's a super good read. And one of the things that a lot of people like to do is they're going to hard flat. And again, like I said, if they're kind of like, I don't know, being very lackadaisical, if you will, on defense, and they're hard flatting or they're shading those yellows down, what happens a lot of times is you can just inside pass lead this thing and just hit it. Like, that's why I like to look at that first, because it just really can pop over the middle. And, again, like let's say a lot of people like to do this in against trips. Like they like to play like a little cover 3 cloud type of defensive look here. If they do some type of cover 3 cloud, this is going to be potentially a one-play touchdown. So always like to have this because this really forces them into specific zones. And you see here, there's that streak. Need a little better throw there, but we'll show that one more time. So again, let me just go to cover 2. But you see how the safety is often like super wide in this formation. That definitely doesn't help them in the sense of defending that streak. So I just think if they play like any kind of cover 2, really, they're going to be put in a lot of issues. And most people don't run cover 2 against trips, but if they do, obviously we want to make them, kind of pay. Now the mid read will follow if they do have a mid read. They normally won't. If it's a cover 3 cloud, they won't. So let me fix that real quick. So if they don't have a mid read, and a lot of people in this game, they like to put their safeties on close and pinch. So it looks something like this. And you see here, kind of cover 3 cloud look. And basically what'll happen is the seam streak thrown right up the skinny will normally be able to win. I don't know why he's being a little, just not getting it done here. Let's see if we can show it one more time here. I'll flip this cover 3. All right, we're just doing some crazy stuff with our alignment. But again, if they try to do any kind of roll over the trip side, normally this is going to be just money, just right up the seam quick, and you can hit it in that little window. Okay. So what that means is they're going to, and then also, like, let's say they're running like a basic cover 2. If they're running a basic cover 2, a lot of times this seam streak will just get, as you see on top of the mid read, you can throw them to the middle of the field. And as you see there, you kind of have that little window to be able to hit. So it's going to be hard for them to play cover 3 or cover 4, honestly. And normally this is going to be a quarter or a third here on the left. Okay. So then if they hard flat out of that, what that typically is going to mean is it's hard flat. That's why I like a return route. If you have a little return route, it kind of pulls that hard flat. You can throw this running back slide route in that little pocket, right in that little alleyway. Or the other thing that you can do, right there, we didn't get a great rat catch, but the other thing that you can do here is if they hard flat, you can kind of throw that backside in route as you see right there. Now, if they don't hard flat, let's say you're playing someone running a little bit more kind of basic coverage. If they don't hard flat, then obviously you'll see he'll kind of come to the inside, and then you can kind of get this nice animation and be able to attack that sideline on the left. So it's just a great play because they're going to also struggle to defend this play in man coverage. So the reason that they're going to struggle to defend this play in man is because they basically, the running back kind of out leverages his man coverage defender, as you see, and even like a hard flat, the hard flat oftentimes can't catch him. And so it's just one of those plays, that's kind of just a pain, honestly, to defend. You kind of need specific things to defend it. And really a cover 4 hard flat is really kind of the main thing you need. Now, the problem with that is the user is now going to be put in a lot of conflict, because if they're in a traditional cover 4 hard flat, then what you're going to be able to do here is hit this tight end post on the cut in the middle of the field, just like that. And then if they, let's say they switch stick that, or let's say they play that, with their user over the middle of the field, Well, now you've given yourself a little bit of issues because this backside kind of like trail technique right here, you're going to be able to just check it down to one of those routes in the middle of the field. The other thing about man coverage in this is if they get like a cover zero or anything like that, what happens a lot is this tight end wins against man coverage. So you'll see he'll kind of get that sharp cut in the middle, and a lot of times you can throw that to the inside. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence, man. He is just a fantastic quarterback in this game. We'll show it to you one more time here. See if we can actually get a good rack catch. I don't know why we got an aggressive catch animation, but anyway, so you see snaps in there, rack catch that, and you see how that can kind of be a big hitter for you against man coverage. And then the other thing about this play in terms of man coverage is now they have to kind of user that. So they have to use her over the middle of the field. And so because they have to use her over the middle of the field, now, your backside drag, your backside in route are great just options to be able to check down against man. If you've been enjoying this breakdown of the trip side and offense in Madden 26, I'd encourage you to check out our school community at the link in the description down below. It comes equipped with everything that I know about both Madden and College Football 26, and it will help you take your game to the next level in both of those games. You can sign up today for just $10. The link is going to be down in the description below. The next setup of the play channel I post is one of our go-to man-beating concepts. It's going to beat zone really well as well. We're going to start out in man coverage here and just kind of break down like why this is such a good man-beating play. So the setup that I like to use for this one is we're going to put the outside trips receiver on just a basic fade route. And then on the inside, we're going to use a slant and a backside return route. And then on the tight end here, we're going to put him on a in route, but we're going to stem him up 2 times. So you see it's going to look like this. The reads on this play is we're going to kind of peak that fade, but we're going to really quickly get to this running back slide route. And then if they're, kind of going to the left side with their user, then we're going to get back to the slant. And then we basically have a high-low in the middle of the field between the tight end in route and the return route. The cool part about this play is it's just very good against a variety of coverages. And so what you're going to see here is against man coverage, this running back route just does a really good job of being able to kind of essentially I don't even know how to quite explain it. Like, it just out leverages the man coverage. It's not like super crazy. If you want to put a crosser, you can put a crosser too. But what you'll see here, as long as he doesn't bump, which he is bumping here, he gets almost like a speed burst. And then this thing can be really, really good. I'm going to not contain here just because I think the contain is kind of causing the running back to actually run into the tackle, which doesn't really happen as much in game as you would think. So anyway, I really just want to show you how good this route is. So you see they bump. It's just hard for that linebacker, right, to get it all the way across the middle of the field. So what that means is they're going to start to do things like put a flat over there or put something over there to defend that route, and that's where this backside slant is going to be really, really effective. So if you see they kind of cover the running back, then we want to, take that slant route, really nice, consistent route that you have this year to be able to beat man coverage. And then once they start to kind of run like cover zero or anything like that, then, they're typically going to be a little bit worried about this tight end route just because that tight end route is so good. And then what you're going to see here is this kind of backside return route, kind of super late in the play. You just want to make sure you're possession catching that. But that's going to be a great little route to have late in the play. And then if for whatever reason, maybe they run to the slant or, they just kind of basically mess up with their user and they vacate the middle of the field, the tight end route is going to do a really good job at getting separation here in the middle. So you see, just gets that nice cut in the middle of the field, unbumpable route, and it's going to do really good at getting open against man. So the different types of zone coverage that you'll see from trips this year is typically you will see some cover 4 if you run trips, I would say. And so, if you do get a cover 4, what's nice about this running back route is he kind of clears out the flat defender, and then you can throw this little return route in a soft spot right there. And so basically the way they're going to have to defend that is they're going to have to play cover 4 hard flat. And then if they do play a cover 4 hard flat like this, typically what you'll see here is you can throw the running back before he gets to the flat defender. That was a little bit of a bad example. Let me actually show that again. But before this running back kind of gets to the flat defender, there's a little window to be able to throw this, even if they do have a hook curl. So you see, kind of throw this like right in that little window. If you immediately cut up, that can be a really good read. I'll have another setup that makes that even better, but in general, that's something to look for. And then the other thing about this is if they do play, good hard flat coverage and things like that, then you're going to be able to work, kind of this backside here. You see there's that tight end in route, just has all the space in the world to be able to get open. And then basically what that does is it's going to put the user in a lot of conflict because he basically has to choose, is he going to guard the tight end or is he going to guard the tight end or is he going to guard the underneath middle with the slant? So you see how we could just hit that slant in that soft spot. And then, let's say he does a really good job of kind of usering and whatnot. Let's just say eventually what's going to happen is this little return route late in the play is going to be a great check down. So this just gives you a lot of answers for the different types of coverage that you'll see. You see if you need to be patient, you have a lot of time to be able to wait for that return route to get over the middle of the field. For this setup of curl flat, what we're going to be doing is we're simply just going to be dragging the tight end. Now, I want to give you kind of a bonus little thing that you can do if you want this play to be even a little bit better, and that is to simply stem this curl up one. If you stem this curl up one, it's going to make it a little bit better in terms of spacing logic on this play, and you're going to be able to attack the defense a little bit more fully. So as far as our primary purpose of running this play and kind of our actual reads on the play, what we're really looking to do is hit this tight end in this kind of like little short area of the field. The reason why we want to hit that tight end there is because it's going to force a specific set of adjustments from your opponent. As you see, if they're just playing basic defense, that tight end is going to get open pretty much every single time. The other big thing is like even if they're playing like a cover two and they have a hook curl over there, you're still going to have a lot of success with this. You're going to see here kind of this tight end just kind of snap down, and those yellow zones, they just drift back so far that it really opens up this throwing lane here to the left-hand side. And so what that kind of naturally creates in your opponent is they're going to essentially shade their coverage down. And when they shade their coverage down, what that's going to do, it's going to make those yellow zones play a lot more low. And so when they play down like this, you have two options. Number one, you could try to throw that right there. I think that's a really hard throw, honestly, to consistently make, especially with a user. What you're basically banking on is that the user is going to run to the running back because he sees him on this Texas. And so it'll kind of create this little pocket right here where you could like possession catch it. But I think the better read actually is when they do that hard flat adjustment, what you're going to be able to do here is you're going to be able to hit this curl route on his basically on his cut here. So you see how I can kind of throw the curl route, and by stemming that curl route up at least one time, it's going to make it so that that hard flat is a little bit less likely to play it. Now, if they have a curl flat on this play, you're going to see here that the curl flat will also kind of late suck down to the hard flat. So it kind of gives us a great little secondary option if our primary option happens to be covered on this play. The other thing with this play, though, I will say, is this hook curl is also going to be put in a little bit of conflict late. So if you're a little patient with this tight end, you can actually kind of hit this running back late in the play just like that. What will happen a lot of times is the user will actually still go back to the post, even though we don't have a clear out route on that. A lot of times this user basically, is just going to be in the habit of kind of going back to the post there. And so that's where, this can be a really nice option. It's kind of right in that little pocket right there, as you can see. The other thing about this is this play is really, really good against man coverage because we put the user in a ton of conflict. So our first read against man coverage still is going to be this drag route. As you'll see, the flat defender is going to get pulled by that flat route, and then this tight end drag is going to get open. Normally, he will actually catch the ball and run with it. We'll see if we can actually make that a reality here. But basically, the three man beating routes are your drag, your Texas, and your post. The curl can also beat man coverage, but take a look here. You see there's that post route. That post route is significantly, it's just one of the better routes to have if they're going to be running any kind of man coverage. We'll see if we can actually make the throw here. But basically when this post cuts inside, a lot of times he's just going to cook the defender. And then if they're in like a cover 0 or even a cover 1, this could be a touchdown. So what that does is that kind of forces the user to the forefront and saying, okay, well, the biggest play on the field is this, post going over the middle. So because of that, they're probably going to user that post route pretty regularly. And so because they're probably going to user the post route now, we're going to be able to then get a lot of space here to be able to hit this running back on this backside, almost like slant type of route where he's kind of getting in that backside positioning. And then if the user kind of gets held down by those different things, then what you're going to see is that this tight end against man coverage is basically going to have a field day. You can throw this with space right there. A lot of times you'll be able to rack catch that and get upfield. And then one of the most popular ways that people like to play cover 0 is with 2 hard flats. Remember, though, we have this curl that's a stemmed up curl, and this curl right on the cut, if they're playing man coverage, one of the most consistent routes in the game this year for attacking the defense. The play verticals from trips tight end features some of the best routes in the game, and it's a staple of any good trips tight end offense. Now, what we typically are going to see from this play and why I think it is so effective is because it's going to give us a lot of answers for different types of zone defenses as well as some man-to-man answers as well. Now, as far as how we want to set this play up, we are going to simply put the running back on a Texas route and we are going to snap the ball. Now, in terms of the read progression of this play, I kind of like to look to the left side first and then kind of work back to the right side. So what I'm really looking for is this seam streak. If they're in a cover 2 coverage, what's going to basically happen here is he will essentially outrun that mid-read defender, and you're going to be able to hit that seam streak over the top for a big play against cover 2. And I wanted to run that one more time just to show you how good this really is. So again, on cover 2, you see that mid-read kind of gets put in a lot of conflict. You see late, he kind of falls down. And then this thing is a just beast of a throw to be able to take the top off the defense if they're playing cover 2. So what that typically means then is that you're going to get some variation of a cover 4 or cover 3 to the left-hand side of the screen. You're normally not going to get cover 2 to that side. You're normally going to get something like this cover 4. Well, the thing is with this cover 4 is the yellow zone is going to go to basically the middle of the field, and you'll see that you can actually throw this seam streak kind of as a snap throw, almost read, to be able to attack that cover 4 coverage. Another little factor that you will see people do against trips is a shaded down cover 4 on that left side with that hard flat. As you see, this really just opens up that quick throw seam streak, wide open, quick against the opponent. Another thing that a lot of people will do is they will put their safeties on close and pinch. So what that's going to do is kind of pinch these safeties in. This also is going to continue to give you a really, really consistent way to attack, kind of that coverage. As you see, he's just wide open in that little spot. So you have this seam streak that is really, really hard to defend. They're going to have to do some things to stop it. One of the things you will see some people do is they will actually put a vert hook here, so he'll have some matching responsibility within this. And, this could be an option. Or they'll just man him up entirely, which obviously is going to leave vulnerabilities elsewhere. You'll see here as well against like cover 3 cloud, he's still going to kind of pop that seam. So you kind of funnel them into very specific defenses that they can actually realistically call, which I think is why this is such a good play. Now, as far as man coverage goes and what this seam can do for you against man coverage is this basically forces them into a man up situation where now your crosser is going to be just money against man coverage. Your crosser, your Texas route, both of these routes are going to be relatively consistent against man coverage, cover 0, anything like that. Most of the time, we'll see if we can actually hit it here. And we put that Texas route out there. So anyway, the other thing is you have a corner route, but once that crosser kind of crosses the face of the defender, as you see, really good way to attack, kind of man-to-man within this formation. Another thing that I would be crazy to not mention to you is cover 2 man. So on cover 2 man, what happens is you get this kind of natural like rub on this route, and he's going to get this really unique type of separation where he's basically just going to run by the man coverage defender, and you can actually one play touchdown a cover two man with that right there. And then let's say, you know, if they're smart, what they might do is they're running cover two man, but they're going to go ahead and, you know, they're going to say, okay, I'm going to put a middle third here to try to prevent that deep throw from occurring. And so if they do that, then what you're going to be able to do here is you're going to see that this route to Rice is even better when he's pressed up. And as you can see, he just does a really, really, really good job of being able to attack the man coverage defender. And then if they user that route for whatever reason, then what I would suggest in a situation where they might be using this is to take a look at your running back, because your running back is always just a great option. What's nice about verticals is it really just spaces the field so well, and then you see that running back able to just attack the defense easily. Another little element that you have within this play, and this is kind of a little bit more of a specific thing to how people like to defend trips, but what a lot of people like to do against trips is they'll play a defense kind of like this, where they basically are going to have a middle third just for the tight end streak, and then they're going to get really adjusty from there. So it might look something like what you see here. And so when that happens, what you're able to do with this play is, because you have this crossing route, this crossing route could get wide open against something like that, you know, depending on how they're kind of switch sticking around. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that's one of the more popular adjustments you see from trips, is when they put that middle third there. You can counter that with that crosser really easily. And then obviously you have just an amazing play against zone that has a ton of answers for how people like to play defense in this game. The play drive post out of the trips tight end formation is money in this year's game. And it's a very, very effective play that you can use to space the field properly and give you a lot of answers against the ways that people like to play defense. This play comes equipped with a short post route on that inside trips receiver, which is really the primary purpose for calling this play. As far as the actual route combination that we're going to put behind this play, actually relatively simple. What I like to do is a simple streak of the tight end, a flat of the table, or a table route to the running back. And then if you want to snap it just like this, you certainly can. I would prefer to put an actual in route on this outside receiver so that he continues to run across the field. Or if you want even better spacing, you can put a return route. The only problem with the return route is he does take quite a while to be able to actually get over there. So that's why I like just a basic in route. Now, the whole purpose of this play is to flood this right side of the field. And so if they're playing any kind of like curl flat coverage or anything like that, you see that little drag is going to get open in that little soft spot when the yellows kind of back up. It's also really good because a lot of times people are going to be using on this guy right here. When they see the two vertical routes from the tight end and the post, there's a really nice window that will open up, you know, kind of like right there, kind of an over the ball type of route. And as you can see, you know, it just does a really, really, really good job of being able to kind of get into that soft spot of the zone. And then basically what's going to have to happen as a result of that is, you know, kind of a cover 4 hard flat situation where this guy is going to have to be a lot more aggressive underneath. And obviously this is the user typically, so definitely something to kind of keep in mind here. But what happens a lot is this user stays, if he stays super far down, then we can throw this kind of short post over the top. We've got that tight end kind of clearing out that quarter, and we have that little pocket to be able to throw the ball in. Another coverage that is really common is, you know, some type of like cover 3 over here on the right hand side. And so if they are using any kind of like cover 3 zone, this is going to be even better because this short post is just going to do a better job and really kind of threaten more of that sideline aspect, which I think is really, really good. Another coverage that you're going to see a lot from people that are trying to defend trips is they'll do something like this, where they're playing basically like a cover 2 on the tight end side and a cover 3 to the trip side. So it would look something like this right here. And essentially the user now has a little bit more freedom to help on the post route. But if that defender on the right side is in a cloud flat, that's the purpose of this table route, is to simply just attack that flat. If they're not doing a good job defending the flat, you could take that for just easy yardage against the defense. The other thing that will happen is typically like they'll shade down in the yellow, and then they'll basically say, okay, I'm going to snap back up top to this post with my user. And so it's going to look like the drag's covered, but actually the drag will be open. And that's why that's the whole point of having this backside in route, because this backside in route does a great job of just kind of attacking that space right there. And, you're able to, kind of continue through the progression and, check down where you need to. As far as man coverage goes within this play, you have a lot of answers for man-to-man. Your short post is pretty good against man. Your running back table can do some damage. And then really just the backside working this little drag route right here. I love this little route. It's just simple, but it's really effective at being able to beat man coverage. And then just the basic in route you'll see right here. Let me actually set this up. And this time we'll show it with that short post. So you'll see the short post, really good at beating man coverage. That's one of the main reasons you call this play, is because that short post and its capability to beat both man and zone coverage. And then kind of late in the play, you're going to have this backside in route typically as a late read for you. So just a lot for them to use her in one play. And you'll see here, kind of this check down in route eventually does a decent job of being able to get leverage and get consistent separation against the man coverage defender. For this setup of the play PA boot shot, we're going to be trying to get a one-play touchdown against cover 4 drop. And the way we're going to accomplish this is we're going to put our running back on a running back streak. We're going to put our tight end on a wheel route. From there, the main things that you need to do is you need to have a streak route on this middle trips receiver, and then you can kind of do whatever you want with this inside trips receiver. What I like to do is put him on a return route, just kind of spaces out really well, and it gives us a check down read. Now, what you're going to see here is, just for the first sake of illustration, I'm going to actually take these defensive linemen and just put them in spies. The main reason being is because the sheds are crazy in practice mode. And also, I just want you to kind of see what can happen if we have time in the pocket. We do have other options if the pressure is coming in faster. And we'll talk about that as we go through this play. But the main thing we're trying to do is hit this post over the top of the cover 4. And if we have time, you're going to see right here that he will basically just outrun that safety, and you can pop cover 4 drop for a one-play score. Now, I want to actually go into instant replay and explain what is going on this play, because you can actually take this concept and apply it to other formations. So what you're going to see on this play is we have a wheel route and a streak on our running back side. And if you watch this inside quarter here, you're going to see that basically the running back is going to freeze him. As you see right here, he's kind of frozen by this running back streak. And then that's going to give that post route time to basically run over the top of him to get the separation needed to bomb the cover 4 defense. Now I'll show it again, and this time we'll actually leave a basic pass rush on the field, just so that you can see that if they do have a really good pass rush, right, you still can potentially get this off, but if they're blitzing you, it's probably not going to be an option. But as you see right there, we're able to hit that bomb no problem. Now, the other thing that I wanted to go over here real quick is one of the couple things you need to be aware of. So as far as the yellow zones, if they're not shading their yellow zones underneath, this return route will get wide open underneath because we put him on a return route. If we don't put him on a return route and we just leave him on like this little short cross, there's a better chance that the user will play him or, something like that. So then if they go to the right side, then we're able to hit this streak or they go to the left side, we're able to hit this streak on the right side. Another thing that you'll get a lot in this game is you get a lot of cover 2 to the tight end side this year in trips, and this will do a decent job at attacking that. Let me show you that real quick. So what you'll see here is this tight end wheel, kind of a fun little route that you can hit. If they're not playing hard flats, that tight end wheel is actually pretty good. Now, as far as the other coverages, other zone coverages, what I wanted to do is just kind of show you the route that we're looking at here against cover 3 and cover 2, just so you can kind of see how it plays out. So if you have time or not. So anyway, make sure you're putting that tight end on a wheel, put that running back on a streak like this, really important. Against cover 3, you should still be good. The wheel kind of pulls everything. And so you see here, the middle third actually went crazy on that right side, which that can happen, right? We'll show that one more time against cover 3, and then we'll talk about it against cover 2. If the middle third guards it, that's okay. We have other plays in this that are going to be really, really good against cover 3 and cover 2. But the main purpose of this play is to bomb cover four. So if you're ever noticing they're running a lot of cover four, I would love you to go to this play right here. But a lot of times, yeah, and you see he's just not going to get open against cover three. That middle third is going to do a pretty good job of being able to play him. So if they do call a cover three on that side, chances are, you're not going to be sitting very pretty. But if they call cover four, you're going to have a massive opportunity to hit it over the top, which there's not a lot of plays in this game that do bomb the cover four. And then cover two, you'll see that deep half kind of gets out there. What's nice is against cover two, you can hit this in a really nice spot, and you're going to be able to pop cover two for a big play. As far as man coverage goes on this play, I would say this play is not really designed for man coverage. However, there are some answers against man. Really, the main one is going to be this return route or this post route if he gets separation. So what you'll see here is there's that return route. That's why we have a good route running receiver in that position. And then the other kind of aspect of this is, let's say they're in like a cover zero or something like that, and they don't have safety help over the top, and you could potentially hit this post when he cuts. I will say, like I said, this is not a super amazing, unbelievable. What the heck just happened with that guy? This is not a super amazing play against man coverage, but it is decent if you get the right man coverage, the right shading, all those factors at play. Sometimes you can hit that tight end in or that tight end wheel. Look at these. Dude, I'll tell you, this is why I spy. This is why I spy people in practice mode. You have no control over what happens with these guys. I'm spying everybody here, especially when you're trying to hit a deep route. And again, you're not going to hit a deep route every time. There's some other answers we have, of course, in this formation. This is primarily a bomb play. I just wanted to show it to you against the different types of man coverage. It's not the best against man, but I will say against like a cover zero or something like that, if he gets that separation, sometimes he can just run by the guy right there. I don't know, maybe he just didn't get the separation I wanted him to get here. We'll show it one more time and just see if we can get this thing to get open against that cover zero. So we'll do a return route. And of course, like I said, the return route is really the main route you want to look for against man coverage. But you see, yeah, see how he gets on top of the corner. And sometimes if he gets on top, it can just be a massive, massive opportunity to bomb the coverage. This setup of the play PA boot shot is designed primarily to attack cover two coverage in Madden 26 as well as man coverage. So this is really important that you follow kind of the exact setup here. If you do not follow the exact setup, then it will not be cover two like you want it to. So what you want to do is you want to put the tight end on a crosser. You don't want to put him on an in route. You want to put him on a crosser for this specific setup. On the left side, you can put this guy on a flat or you could put him on a zig. I like a zig just because a zig will give you man-to-man separation, whereas a flat really won't, okay? And then this is really important. Make sure you put the inside trips receiver on a slant. You can't leave him on that route. You have to put him on a slant. Otherwise, it will not pull the deep half defender. And then with the running back, you can either block him, but what I normally do, I'm just going to put him on a flat route like this, okay? Now, essentially what we're looking for, obviously, against cover two is this big boy post over the top. And I am going to spy everybody just so I can show you what's going to happen if you just kind of get enough time in the pocket here. So if you get enough time in the pocket, what you'll see is the mid-read will kind of look like he's going to play him, but he's not going to get the depth he needs. And this is going to get over the top for a one-play score. So it's the best way out of this formation, in my opinion, to attack that mid-read defender consistently. It's just the biggest thing with this is you have to have time in the pocket to hit the bomb, but you have a lot of other answers underneath. So again, we'll just show you the bomb one more time, and then we'll talk about all the answers we have underneath. And then also, this is really, really good if they're running like two-man under or anything like that. This will do a really good job of being able to kind of put two-man under in a fairly vulnerable position. So if they want to run like cover two-man, this is pretty good. And the reason why is because if he beats the man coverage defender, which that is an if in this game, like if he beats the man coverage defender, the deep halves will not play that post. That's the biggest thing. You have a couple answers under here. This is one of my go-to plays against cover two man, right? The tight end crossers, you see, he just whips the guy. But the biggest thing I want to show you is this post, he's one-on-one. He's essentially one-on-one with the corner, and it comes down to does he win or not. That's the main thing that it comes down to, is does he win or not, okay? A lot of times I will say if they're route committing the inside and they have a good cover corner there, you might not win to the inside. But if they're showing you man coverage, I will normally stem this down one just so that it cuts a little quicker and a little sharper. And when you stem it down one against man coverage, here you see how he kind of gets on top. And then, yeah, I mean, like I said, the man coverage defender could just bag him, okay? But the zone, the deep halves will not play it, okay? So a lot of it just honestly depends on, does your player win in man or not? We have other answers, but I just want to show you the big play potential of this play if they give it to you. If they don't give it to you, if it's not open, obviously we have other answers, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I just want to see if we can get this open one more time. So as you see, he gets on top, and see, even that is just enough separation where you can rat catch that, and it's a huge play. So just something to look for, right, on this play, because it is a great answer against man coverage. Now, the rest of the play, how does it answer man coverage, and how does it attack man? Well, the tight end crosser is kind of the main read. That does a really good job, especially against 2 men under, because they can't press the tight end crosser. You see he's getting good separation. That's a pretty simple, straightforward, easy way to attack man. It's just that simple tight end crosser. Now, the best way to play man on that inside trips receiver is to actually play a man align. So if they do man align their man coverage, they're not trying to disguise it with zone or anything, then what will happen is typically he'll get kind of a quick inside release like that, and you can just throw it right in front of the player. So you have answers like that against man coverage, really consistent, just depending on how the user, of course. And then the zig route. The zig route is one of those routes where it's a little better against off man coverage. However, it can get separation. So you see here, we'll look to the left, see you got a little separation, and we'll just take that quick read. As far as zone coverage, what are the answers that we have in terms of zone coverage? Well, what's nice about this play is, let's say they run like a cover 3 on the trip side, and they run a cover 2 on the other side. So it looks something like this right here. What'll happen is this cloud flat will get pulled out by this flat defender, and then you can basically throw either the slant under the yellow, or you can throw the running back. So you'll see here, you can kind of throw the slant right in that little pocket, kind of a tight window, but you can hit that window consistently. What a lot of people will do from time to time in trips is they'll hard flat this guy on the outside, so they might do like a shaded down cover 2 to take away the running back quick throws. And so if they're taking away the running back quick throws, then it's going to open up this slant kind of late in this play right there. As you see, he's kind of open right in that little window. You need to get a little better throw, but he's wide open. And then the other thing is, let's say they're playing, like I said, like a cover 3 on this side. Then now they're running the risk of the fact that the tight end crosser kind of late in this play, the zig will pull the flat down, and then the post will pull the deep guy back. And so essentially what you'll see here is that throw, right? Just a money window on trips to be able to hit that throw consistently against zone coverage. For the setup of the play PA boot shot, what we're going to basically be doing is we're going to be using this setup to attack cover 3 coverage consistently in this game. It's a really consistent way to attack cover 3, especially cover 3 hard flats. So what we're going to basically do here is we're going to streak the inside trips receiver. We're going to drag the outside trips receiver. And then you kind of have some options with what you want to do on the right-hand side. You could do a couple of different things. What I like to do the most is a simple corner route and a table route like this. I just think it's a really good high-low read to go with this play. And essentially what this is going to do is the corner route's going to pull the outside third, and then this little crosser is going to get open kind of in this little soft spot. And if you rat catch this properly, you can basically manipulate and get good plays consistently against cover 3 in this game. As far as cover 4 and what this would do, or what this looks like if the defense is in a cover 4 coverage here, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if they are in a cover 4 coverage, I think the inside quarter will do a little bit better of a job of kind of staying home here, but he still will kind of back up. And if you wait on this play, a lot of times you can hit this in a soft spot over the top of the quarter, as you can see right there. That's a little bit more of a difficult throw, but it is something that you have within this play. Now, as far as like, what if our opponent, decides that they want to run like a cover 2 on the trips, or a cover 2 on the tight end side, the deep half will get pulled to the sideline pretty well by the corner route, and so there is a little void where you can still hit this. What's nice about this is the clear out streak just does a really good job, and then you see how I can kind of hit this. You want to possession catch that against cover 2, as you see right there. If I don't possession catch that against cover 2, I'm going to have all kinds of problems, but that's kind of like the high read in the high low. And typically what's going to happen is really regardless of what they're doing defensively, their user is going to have to go guard this crosser. Like typically, you might have to switch stick to it, but ultimately he's going to have to put himself in a position to be able to defend that crosser. And so because the user has to go to the crosser, it leaves this void in the middle of the field for this drag to have the whole entire middle of the field to be able to work underneath. Now, let's say that they are running, again, like a cover 4 on one side or cover 3 on one side and a cover 2 on the other side, and they're doing a good job of shading and things like that. And so, it's a little bit trickier to hit this. And so, you got the 5-yard yellows or whatever, right? They're doing something like that to get a little bit more aggressive. What you're able to do on this play is because of that corner route, he's going to pull that cloud back, and you can just take a simple check down to your running back. Now, as far as like what happens if they run like a man-to-man coverage, this play actually has done a pretty good job. We'll do a pretty good job of attacking man coverage. You have a lot of answers against man coverage with this setup here. First and foremost, your tight end corner route a lot of times will win against man coverage because we put him on a sharper cutting corner route instead of the corner route that he's on stock in the play. And the other thing that's really good against consistently good against man coverage on this is going to be this crosser, of course. So the crosser still is good against man coverage. You're going to see he does a really good, just a crazy pass rush by that outside guy there. Let's see if we can actually just do a simple contain, but sometimes that's crazy too. So just crazy game we're living in. But basically this crosser, we'll see here, if he cuts inside, when he cuts across his face, he's going to do a really good job of, just simply being open consistently against man coverage. That's shaded inside man. He's still able to get inside positioning. So not only are you able to beat those two types of man coverage, but you're also going to do a pretty good job if, let's say, the user says, okay, well, obviously I got to go user that crosser. Then you're going to just have this very, very simple and effective drag route underneath. That is a great check down read, great check down option that just gives you even more answers against the coverage. The motion Z spot out of the trip set information is really effective at just attacking a variety of coverages. As you see here on the left side, we have a short post route from this outside receiver. So what I like to do with this play is essentially just go ahead and stem that post route up one so it's a little bit deeper. And then we're going to run a simple flat route to our slot receiver, a zig route to our inside trips receiver here. And then from there, what I like to do is stem this tight end corner down a little bit so it's a little bit sharper. And this is going to give us a lot of different, options against different coverages. We have a high-low read on the right side. I like to kind of read that first. And if that flat defender drops back, I like to take that quick table route there to the running back. And then the other thing that I like to do on this play is, let's say that they are running a hard flat. So if they run a hard flat, they're going to kind of snap right to the running back. And you see how that corner kind of wraps around in that nice soft spot, that little window there on the outside for an easy read against cover 4 and cover 3, whether it's a curl flat or a hard flat. You see here, right? It doesn't really wrap around, so I can just take that quick running back route and just take that easy yardage. Now, what happens against cover 2 on this play, a lot of people in this game, they love to play cover 2 to the tight end side. And so what you're going to see here against cover 2 is that cloud defender is going to back up pretty well, and that little flat route does a nice job, get about 10 yards on a cloud over there on that right-hand side. And then if they soft squat or they hard flat, either way, this table route's going to do a good job of kind of pulling the flat defender down. And what you'll see here is it kind of snaps to the running back, and you see how that tight end route can get thrown slightly over the top of that. We'll show that one more time. Soft squats are a little weird in this game. They don't always pull down like they should when the running back threatens the flat. What we'll see here, there you see a little better example. And you just want a possession catch that to the sideline. Kind of same thing. So again, we're just isolating the flat defender with this simple high-low read. It's very simple, but I think it's very, very effective as well. And the beauty of this is obviously the hard flat, you're able to really, kind of attack that tight end side. So you have a lot of answers against cover 4, cover 2, anything like that. If they run kind of like a cover 2 man or any kind of man coverage, this tight end corner route is kind of unique. It's a little bit sharper, especially when you stem it down. It's not going to get pressed either. So it just is a good route, as you see there, to kind of pop me in coverage easily. to the outside. And then I'll show you here, if I go to cover 0, I'm going to route commit to the outside just so you can kind of see what can happen in terms of this route. And again, you want to stem this all the way down. You got a flat, you got a little zig. If you don't want to stem the ISO receiver or the outside trips receiver, you can leave him stem down too. But anyway, you'll see you're still pretty much able to throw that tight end corner out against, you know, cover 0 type man coverage where they're off coverage and they're shading. You normally can still hit this route. You see, kind of gets that cut. You see, you're able to throw in that little window there. So, love this play against a lot of coverages. I think this is just a great do everything play for your offense, and it's going to have answers against a lot of different things that people are going to do. Another really popular thing that you'll see is, and one of the reasons I love this play, is if they start to try to help the tight end side, then you can work this kind of 3-man combo on the left. So what happens is this short post, you're going to see, you know, he gets that nice sharp cut to the inside of the field, and he's going to do a pretty good job of getting open. That's also why I like to stem him up one, because it'll time together a little bit better. So you'll see here, when you stem him up one, he'll go a little bit deeper, but it'll also kind of time together a little bit better, as I threw that just a little too early. But if you get like standard man, let me just show that real quick. Put the linebackers on the flats here. So again, just standard cover 0. A lot of people like to run this. Something like that. Users in the middle of the field, of course. I would stem that post up one. And then what you'll see here, see how he kind of whoops the man coverage defender. And if they're not really on point with their user, that's going to be a really nice route to be able to hit. So they have to kind of put some zones over there, put some things over there to help that out. Got to have the flat or the purple over here for the tight end route, and then the user in the middle of the field. And so you just kind of run out of resources ultimately. And the other big thing with this is this little zig. So if this little zig doesn't get pressed, a lot of times super consistent against man, as you see right there, able to get, you know, good separation. Another really thing that's nice about trips tight end, a lot of people like to play cover 4, cover 3 hard flat against it. And so what happens is that will do a decent job against this flat route, but you'll see that this zig, right, he can kind of get to this nice soft spot against that coverage. As you see, he's able to kind of provide an answer there. And then they have to kind of have a shaded down yellow to be able to defend that. So I'm going to shade those yellows underneath and outside so that they defend the zigs a little bit better. The problem is this play also kind of happens like really, really quickly. And so because of that, a lot they have to worry about on the right, and also a lot they have to worry about on the left. On the left side, you'll see that this post kind of gets open in a really nice little window here. I'll try to show that one more time. And you can, if you use a smart routed or like a super deep in route, it's a little bit better against zone, I would say, just because he takes a little wider angle. But take a look at this window that you can actually hit on this play here. Let me put the zig here. But it's like right there. Mahomes is kind of butchering this throw. He probably shouldn't freeform, and I guess freeform it might be a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to not freeform it this time and see if we can just pass lead it right into that little area. So this is no freeform, pass lead down. You see how he kind of gets to that little soft spot? Very, very good play and very, very good route to be able to attack the defense in just a variety of ways, whether it's cover 2, whether it's, you know, cover 4. If they back the yellows off, then that little zig is wide open in that little soft spot. You just have a lot of answers against a lot of different defenses. The play shallow X dig out of the trips tight end formation is going to give you a lot of kind of unique ways to attack defense and give you some decent answers against what they might be doing. Now, the way that I like to run this play as a whole is relatively simple. What I like to do here is I like to take this slot receiver or this middle trips receiver Worthy, and I like to put him on a flat. The reason I like to do that is there's this specific drag to the tight end. It's kind of a unique drag. It's a really, really low drag. So you're going to see, I mean, it's very flat, very horizontal. It gets across the field quickly. It's one of our main reads on this play. So what the flat's going to do is the flat will pull out that flat defender. And so if they don't have a yellow zone defender, then, you know, this is going to get wide open in kind of a unique area of the field. Now, the other thing that I like about this is you have this kind of deep in route right here that is going to get into a nice area of the field as well. And then as far as the running back goes, you honestly can do whatever you really want with the running back, I would say. Generally speaking, I think that what makes the most sense here is maybe even just like a basic, maybe just like a basic option route or something. Doesn't really matter to me what you put the running back on in this play. You can put him on a flat route if you want a high-low. You can put him on an out route if you want a more of a man-beating type of principle. I would even, you could put him on a corner route. What's cool about a corner route, I'll show you this real quick, is against like, kind of crazy man coverages, this corner route is going to get a nice, area of the field for you to be able to possession catch that. So that's an option. But again, you got to do whatever you want with the running back. It's not really that imperative to the play. The main thing that's important is just putting this flat route to the middle trips receiver. Even if you wanted to motion the running back out on a streak, to me, this makes a lot of sense because now you have a really nice ability here. You'll see to be able to hit this crosser. This crosser is a shorter crosser. And so if they're curl flatting, the curl flat can get there. Okay. But what's nice about this is if they're hard flatting, what you'll see here is watch how this crosser runs if they're hard flatting in a cover 4. Notice that the outside quarter can't really play that. As you see right there, like they're going to have to switch stick that to go guard it, which is another reason why I love this play. I just think this is a very good play that gives you a lot of answers against a lot of things that they will do. Kind of a fun route I'll show you real quick, just kind of something cool, is this post route to the running back. What you can do is you can stem the running back up. So you see how the running back is going to run it's like a running back streak, but he'll run faster. So you'll see he kind of runs upfield and clears out space for that crosser. It's another option as well. And I'm just going to leave that up to you. You can do whatever you want. Put the running back on a flat, put him on, it does not really matter. Honestly, block the running back, right? You could also block the running back. That's another answer. But in general, what I like to do is if they're not hard flatting, right, or if they're not playing underneath, I'm going to throw that every single time, okay? Every single time. So then that pulls the yellow up. So the yellows have to come up to guard this. And so because of that, then this little pocket right here is open for this in route. Now, if let's say they run like a cover 3 cloud. So they run, maybe shaded down yellows, but they cloud flat over here and they roll the coverage like this. Most people that play trips aren't going to run a coverage like that, but some people will. You have a lot of answers in other plays against this, but essentially what you'll be able to do here is you'll be able to hit that in route above the yellow zones in that little pocket right there. Need to get a little better animation. The other thing you'll be able to do as well is you'll be able to hit the drag when he comes across the middle. So you can throw it like kind of right over there. That's an option too. But anywho, and then the other option is this in route. So you could even stem the in route up one more, make it like a super deep in route. And you'll see here, look how deep that in route gets. It just gets into like a unique spot of the field. Very nice, very difficult play to stop. But why you really call this play ultimately is because of this drag route. If you want to put the running back on a Texas, be my guest. That will make it a little bit better in terms of man-to-man. But as you see against zone, it can kind of muddy up the picture. Again, what a lot of people like to do is cover 4 or cover 3 hard flat to the tight end side, and this crosser runs so shallow, as you see, that it gets in that nice spot where you basically have to have a curl flat to be able to guard it. So because you have to have a curl flat to be able to guard it, then your running back route is going to do a good job as kind of being a check down. Even something as simple as a swing route, like I know it's kind of like you don't see a lot of swing routes. But in this year's game, swing routes, they kind of pull zones really, really well. So the main purpose of calling this play is really for this tight end drag, though. That's the whole point of it. This tight end drag is really unique. And I'll show you one other thing. So you'll see this swing route. I think it will pull the curl flat down. Didn't quite pull it down like I wanted it to. Anyway, let's talk about man coverage. So if they are playing you in a man-to-man, this is where I would do like a wheel route or something. Right, if I think it's man, I might do a wheel route. Look at that tight end drag. You see how it runs flat? You're going to get a nice rat catch. Normally, the tight end just cooks man. Normally, that tight end route is going to be just a home run potential, even though it's just a quick flat. Normally, that tight end, it can really cook man coverage. So just keep that in mind. That's something that you want to definitely look at with man coverage here. The other thing is that shallow crosser, right? That short crosser, really good read. Normally against man, and then of course your backside in. So you'll see here, I don't know why that. It's because cover 2 man is kind of stock shaded down and inside. Cover 2 man's I think the hardest man coverage to beat. But generally speaking, let's see if the in route passing down inside. Yep, in route can beat man as well. Normally people are going to play man out of off man. I will just say. And so if they're playing that off man coverage, you see how that crosser does a nice job of being able to attack it. And then if they play man coverage with 2 hard flats, which is pretty common, so if they do something like this, what you'll see here is that tight end. Look how open that tight end is, even though there's a hard flat, and then you can rack catch it like that. And you see how it can just kind of get into a soft area of the field, very difficult to defend. So that's pretty much this play. A couple other ways to run it, like just different variations. You could do something like this where you run a little bit more of like a, something like that. That's a little bit better against man. Probably gives you a couple more answers. And then you have this like angle route late. But that at that point is kind of turning into another variation of curl flat. But the main purpose of this play is just this drag gets so low. It's such a good route, such a good variation of a drag. And then you just have the other stuff off of it. So one of the best things about trips tight end is it has the ability to threaten the entire defense horizontally in the run game. I'm going to be breaking down the different runs here and kind of their use cases and what makes them really, really good. And you see here down in the red zone, I think obviously this is the best place to break down the run game. Essentially, we have a quarterback zone, a quarterback strong power, RPO alert bubble, and inside zone. Now, if you were asking me to pick 2 of them, pick the quarterback power and the RPO alert bubble. Okay, the RPO alert bubble is basically an inside zone and a bubble screen attached to it, which is really, really good in this year's game. These bubbles are really good, as you can see right here. These bubbles are super effective. You want to be throwing them in your offense. And then you also have this quarterback power. The quarterback power just gets great blocking this year. There's a lot of ways to be able to basically just call it. And if you feel like you have, numbers to this right side, it's one of the best runs in short yardage situations in this game. Okay, so that quarterback power and then that RPO. The cool part about the RPO is if you look at that bubble, if it's not open, you can just let the game hand the ball off to the running back. But if it is open, it's just one of those things that, they're going to eventually go out there, user it, do different things like that, which then open up the inside run game. So, those are really the 2 main runs that I would say that you want to be using is this bubble screen and the quarterback power. Those are like the most important, but you do have some other runs here that I think are really good. I think the inside zone, even though the bubble is so good, the nice part about the inside zone is that wide receiver is now going to block for you. It's really hard to shoot this inside zone post patch, and this is one of the better ones. You also have this halfback counter, which is kind of a fun run. You get a pulling guard, and it's kind of a delayed handoff, but it's really good. The purpose of the counter, why you might want to run that, is because when you get into like a man-aligned situation. So let's just say, the defense was man-aligning here, and it looks something like this. Well, now you have a significant numbers advantage. If you get one block, right, that counter is going to be really, really good and really effective. The other big thing with the inside zone is you can untarget the backside D end, and it will kind of create a really good, straightforward run for you to be able to attack the defense with. So I love the inside zone. I love the bubble screen. One little tip with the bubble screen: untarget the guy, like the safety back here. Untarget that safety. It'll make the blocking significantly better on the bubble screen. And as you can see right there, like it's a really good way to threaten kind of that outside left area of the field, which oftentimes gets slept on. And then quarterback zone, I think this run is really good. You get kind of straightforward blocking. I would say with quarterback power, it's more of an outside base run, whereas the quarterback zone is more of like essentially almost like a QB blast. Like it could go outside or it could go inside. So a little bit more versatility from the run, but probably not as much big play potential as in that quarterback power. And then, like I said, with the RPO, they start, really expanding, getting out wide like that. Then we can just run the basic inside zone, and it gives us a significant advantage with this formation that not only the passing options are there, but you have a ton of different options to be able to run the ball as well. The biggest thing is being patient in the run game, not running before your blocks are set up. And if you're able to do that, it's going to make your run game 10 times better. Trips tight end has probably one of the best red zone offenses in all of Madden 26. Because you have a ton of ways in which you can run the ball, but you also have some of the best passing options for the red zone. The play China Y post features a really unique slide route to the running back that is going to be very, very useful down here in short yardage situations. So what you will typically see is you will see some type of cover two, and I'm going to be going over cover two here primarily. We'll show some man coverage as well. But effectively what we're going to do with this play is we're going to flat our middle trips receiver. We're going to in route the outside trips receiver, slant the inside trips receiver, and then crosser the tight end. So this is what the play looks like. This is one of the most powerful red zone passing concepts in the game. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is that these yellow zones are going to be kind of tied up with this underneath stuff. You can actually throw this slide route and basically cut it upfield before he gets to the sideline and before the flat defender can actually make a play on the running back. Now, this is also true if they, let's say, shade underneath. So if they shade underneath in a cover two and they do something like this here, I might have messed it up. Let me reset. Let me just go cover two drop here, shade underneath, and I'm going to put a purple zone on these deep halves. It's a very popular way that people like to play red zone defense. But what's nice about this is you're going to see that because we have this flat route on the middle trips receiver, it really messes with how the zones are going to interact with this route. And you're going to see here again that we can just throw this and we can kind of cut it up in the middle. And oftentimes we're going to be in a really good position to be able to get a touchdown on this play. So if they're running shaded down cover two, not necessarily going to make a massive difference in terms of this. The main thing is, does this running back route run his route cleanly? And as you see, he does. When he runs his route cleanly, this thing is really difficult to stop. So what that means practically is oftentimes your user is going to run down. The user is actually going to go try to guard the running back. So if I was to set this up again, you're going to now see a scenario where the user might, whether it's through switch stick or whatever, right? He tries to go to the running back. So, and most people are going to send four down here in the red zone. So I'm just going to do that as well, because obviously the run game. So let's say that this defender is going to go all out and he's going to try to actually lurk down on the running back. What that does is then it opens up the entire middle of the field. And so what you're going to see here is that this little tight end crosser gets in a nice little spot to be able to be thrown if they were to do that adjustment. Okay. Another thing that you'll see people do from time to time is they'll basically cross man the running back. So if I was to do that, I'm going to actually cross man this guy on the running back. I'm still going to user the middle of the field here. And then let's say, maybe I put the guy in a purple over there and a purple over here. So now I'm still in the middle of the field. This is honestly probably the best thing that they could do to try to defend this play, but the openings are still there. So what you're going to see here is that tight end crosser late is going to get wide open in the back corner of the end zone, because those yellow zones have to basically, kind of snap down to be able to defend. The other thing that you have, and this is a little bit more now kind of like basic things that could basically be done. It just kind of depends a little bit on the adjustments and things that they're doing. But most of the time, you're going to see that they're going to be adjusting out of a cover two. If they leave those deep halves, the tight end crosser will still get into a really nice area. You'll see right here, see how I can still kind of threw it just a little bit too early. But if I wait on this, you'll see the tight end will actually still get open against a cover two. So let me see if I can actually get that for you. So again, flat, in route, slant, and then a backside crosser. The backside crosser, if you have time in the pocket here, you're going to see he's going to basically run himself into kind of a unique area that's very difficult to guard. Okay. So the deep halves don't exactly, do anything. The other element of this is, let's say they're running that cover two hard flat. One of the throws that you'll have is you'll have this kind of slant into a really unique spot, kind of back pylon type throw, just like that. Another great read to be able to make. Now, one of the things you do need to obviously plan for is in this game, you will get some like shaded down, cover two man type stuff. Like you'll get some of that. This play really does a good job against that. Number one, the running back can still be thrown against man coverage. You see right here, throw that running back, you can still cut it up and still give yourself a chance to be able to score. That's option A, of course, and they're just gonna have to do so much to stop the running back, right? They're gonna have to have a lot of resources devoted to that, and then the entire middle of the field it opens up by result. So what you'll see now is, my slant route, right? Just possession, catch that in between the zones, wide open against man coverage, great man beating principle, and then again, if they're putting those two hard flats, maybe they take their user over here and they say, okay, I'm not going to let you throw the slant because I know that's one of the main routes you're going to go to. And maybe they cross man the running back or whatever, they get really adjusty. Well, then you're still going to have this backside in route kind of right in that little soft spot right there. Sometimes the man coverage will go crazy, but generally speaking, you're still going to be in a pretty good spot. So this, like I said, sometimes the man coverage can actually go wild, but generally speaking, this in route, he will win to the inside eventually, pass it down inside, possession, catch it. Kind of a bang bang play, but it's really effective down in the red zone. The play curl flat out of trips tight end is one of the better red zone passing concepts in this game. I might break down how to be able to utilize this play. So first and foremost, very simple setup. All you're going to do is just simply drag your tight end. Now I know it looks like a very simple play. It is a very simple play, but it's very good in the red zone. The reason being is because if they're not doing anything to their yellow zones, a lot of times you could throw that tight end between the flat and the hook curl. So a lot of people like hook curls in this game. Even if I shade down in a cover 4, you're going to see here that this tight end really just kind of does a good job of being throwable, right? Now, right there, the hard flat actually played out of his mind. But the other thing that you can do with this play is you can also throw this curl in a really soft spot. So if you're expecting like a cover 4 hard flat or something like that, that curl route can be thrown in a really unique area of the field. If you want to stem him down one to make him kind of snap a little quicker, you can do that. As you see, he gets in a nice soft spot of the defense. The hook curls are typically going to have to defend that tight end, and it makes it difficult to defend. The other reason why I think that this is a really, really good play is because what most people are going to do in the red zone is they're going to play cover 2 and they're going to play these 2 curl flats on the outside. Well, because you have this little bit deeper of a curl route, you're going to see here that you can kind of throw through things. There, the Texas route, I probably should have high pointed that. That Texas route gets into a unique area of the field because, again, you got to realize, like, if they're shading their yellows down, then that means that there's this little window in behind the yellows that you can actually hit here. And if you want to, you can also put this guy right here on a curl. And you see here, I gotta start high pointing these, but this high point curl is really, really good too. So you can do it on either side. Basically, you can do it from either of those, a little bit of an alternate variation of this. But if you stem these curls back a little bit to the end, you're gonna see here, high point at this time. You see, right there, he's open. Just kind of a matter of do you get the accurate throw or not. But basically, the other thing with this is, how are they going to use her? Do they take this post route? Because this post kind of in a soft spot right there. What typically people do when they see a running back Texas route and they're using, they're going to run over to the running back Texas route a lot of times. And so if they take that little step to the right side, then you have this little window right there. Of course, you have this little window to throw this. Again, it's kind of hard to show with 2 controllers, but again, basically like this guy a lot of times goes with the running back is what I'm trying to say. And then you have the other yellows that are going to be affected by the tight end. And so it allows that throw like right in that little pocket. The other thing is a lot of people run cover 2 hard flat down here in the red zone. And this post route will continue to run across the field. So you'll see here, see how that post route kind of runs and he goes into the back corner. There's a nice little tight window right there where basically you could put the ball where only your receiver can get it generally. And this can be kind of a nice little read here. So again, you see freeform kind of to the back pylon, and you see that little pocket that you can hit it in if they're going to hard flat on that back side. This play is really, really good against man coverage, which is honestly the primary reason why you would call this in the red zone. If you're expecting a cover 0 or a man coverage look, this is really good because of the fact that you have that tight end route and you have that running back Texas. Both of those routes are really, really good against man. And then your little like post route is also pretty effective against man coverage here. So you see there's that post, and you're basically watching the user. If the user goes with the post, then you're going to be looking for the running back. If the user does not go with the post, he kind of stays in the middle, then you're going to obviously be looking to throw the post. But that's kind of the thought process behind this. This is not a red zone play that you want to run every single time you're in the red zone. But when you combine this with some of the other things you can do from chip side into the red zone, it's really, really effective.